Hello, once again, dear viewers, and welcome back to another Moonflower Tarot reading. Thank you so much for stopping by and for all the support you've given me lately. I'm so happy to be here channeling for you, the collective, with information that is important to hear, as well as putting in a little bit of my own special spin. And I appreciate all of you who've been watching, and any newcomers here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here, and any support you give the channel is very much welcome and appreciated. Today's message, I was receiving some guidance to pull, I guess, cards and information on soul tribe connections. Actually, there seems to be a lot of interestingly newness within the collective, and oftentimes we see as a society in times of darkness, we are, as people, given a choice to either, I guess, reconcile our differences and choose to move on together in a frame of mind of unity and peace, or people kind of lose that battle and choose to go further into the darkness. So one of the biggest words that popped into my mind as I was pulling these cards was reconciliation. So I'm going to be pulling messages for the collective about any soul tribe connections you might be making in the near future, or ones that might have fallen away that are coming to you, as well as some that might be new to you. Because one of the first images I got was of an intersection and going down a road. It's almost like a three-way intersection, almost going straight ahead, and one road was curving off to the right, and one was like taking a left turn. And if there are those of you who, let's say, had childhood friends or even high school acquaintances that you lost track of and might be reconnecting with soon, there are some of them who might be joining a spiritual journey with you. I'm hearing some of you have been keeping track of that. And if you've been wondering if there's like a connection specifically from high school or college that you fell apart from, but have been feeling almost like you want to reconnect, then this is your confirmation that might be good. Because I saw a group of people getting together and creating this almost like this place of spirituality, almost like I don't want to say compound, but like people buying out a house to specifically be a group of spiritual people or healers or leaders. So there might be some confirmation, because I'm seeing a lot of white light surrounding that and this person. So uh, um, depending on how you feel about that, or if this person is in your life or not, this might be the confirmation you need. So that came off right off the bat for a few of you. And if I sound a little out of sorts today, I am actually at the tail end of a cold, so a little bit brain foggy. I'm seeing some of you might need to drink elderberry tea. Oh, this is my tea drinker collective. I love it. Thank you for being back here, guys. Yeah, there's a lot about regrouping with your soul collective nowadays, especially since we're seeing a lot of like, I'm hearing conflict on the horizon, but I mean that's kind of sometimes what happens when society turns in a certain direction. It's not all bad, because this I'm hearing we're living in a historical event, but then again, I just want to remind you, so didn't our ancestors. And I'm sure at the time they thought the world was ending, but it's not. The world had to kind of almost metaphorically and figuratively end in a certain way to begin anew. So I do want to give you peace of mind and comfort, especially when it comes to the fact that we are working together, and in the end, God does have our best interest at heart, whether we see it or not. And just remember that even during times of trouble and struggle, like hundreds of years ago, our ancestors were afraid of the same thing. Like it couldn't get any worse than this, and it's finally here. It's like it's not going to be here because there are too many people who want the world to keep going on, and we're transmuting that energy together. And it really is about finding time to be able to tune in to your own sense of worth during this weird, almost esoteric shift in human consciousness. And we are receiving a lot of this whirlwind energy for all of us to change at the same time. And like I said before, and I mean, we always see this in history with a lot of people who, in times of war, choosing to be on the wrong side of history. But we just know that usually social justice wins most of the time, even though there's a lot of pain to get through that. And I'm so sorry some of you are kind of worried about that or going through that now, or know people who are doing that, and it is an adjustment. Always choosing the light over reacting to the darknesses in others is definitely the best way for all of us to go as a collective. And as far as your soul family, you are moving on into, I'm hearing, clearer waters and into victory. It might be a little bit bittersweet, but there's almost like this passivity. Like it's just going to happen naturally. You're going to basically win the war, is what I'm hearing. Whatever you've been dealing with in your own life, whatever battles, whatever um, whatever I'm hearing images you've been conjuring up about what is happening in the world, it's it's going to affect you, but it's not going to affect you anymore. And what I mean by that is, naturally, as people, especially if you identify, well, not even if you identify as highly sensitive, everyone's affected by the movements of this world and how people get hurt. Even the people who hurt people, they are also equally affected. And that's why they choose to move in that direction, even though it kind of feels like they don't have the capacity for empathy. They really do. They just react to it in a not a very kind way. But those who choose to react to a lot of that inner pain in a way that is almost like peaceful, and I'm hearing blissful. I'm also hearing the phrase blissful ignorance. And it's not like, it's keeping in mind you can still have a peace of mind of, or a state of blissful ignorance without being blind to what's going on in the world. It's really a state of mind of knowing that whatever you want in this world can be yours, and whatever's happening around you doesn't affect you as much anymore. You are in control of how you react to it, and it might not seem like a victory at first, but you got this Nine of Coins, you got this Nine of Pentacles. And I'm hearing you, some of you came from the Nine of Wands, where there's a lot of this like stand your ground, don't back down energy, going into this very peaceful state. Oh, and I just got shown an image of the final scene from Fantasia Ave Maria. Oh, that's really beautiful. So if you haven't seen Fantasia, the Disney movie, the original one, like if you have access to that, go watch it. It is very beautiful. It's basically music, and images, but it's almost like a feeling of everything has its time and place. It's birth, death, and rebirth, and that's definitely the theme that runs through that entire movie. Is you go from this building block of creation within the music of just abstract colors, and then it follows you through the entire movie. And like, I forget the song that comes before Ave Maria. It's very famous. It's with that giant demon guy, but it's like after the bell tolls, light comes to the world. And yes, the darkness has its time and place, and so does the light. And the light always comes after the darkness. And in a lot of ways, we have, as a society, have almost manufactured darkness for our own amusement and pleasure, and not necessarily in a bad way, because it's one thing to enjoy the darkness for what it is, so we have an idea of how it affects us, and it's another thing to give into it out of fear. And so this idea of a remorseful reconciliation between two people might have to do with something that was a relationship built on fear in the past. Because I had been given this example before in one of my dreams where there was someone I knew from high school, and I couldn't be my authentic self because of the people I was in, my environment, and the family I grew up in. And we could have been closer, it felt like, but there was a lot of things getting in the way that didn't really suit me, and a mindset. But in the end, it's almost like our souls knew we could have been better friends on some level, but I needed to almost confess to her within a dream state after doing a lot of healing that I kind of had to wear a mask. I needed to be this person because my environment couldn't let me be another way, and it wasn't exactly healthy, and it wasn't like um, let's just say it was kind of a religious wound, which I don't have anymore. But in a sense, it was like the version of God that my family taught me was real was not the version that I grew close to. And it really just had to do with the type of relationship between myself and others, and my authenticity with facing the world, and the idea of wearing a mask to be safe. And then I think one of the reasons why we all do that collectively, especially in teenage years, if you identify as needing to be a part of your family of origin to the point of almost an illusion of yourself in that household, it's not easy to, untangle yourself from that unless you step out of that environment and figure yourself out. But, teenage years in high school, maybe you didn't have that. And maybe you have a similar experience where there was this, maybe not the bright side of the religion you grew up in, or you had to do something you didn't want to do, like take classes or courses or do a sport, play football. Like, I'm hearing at your leisure. That's interesting. So, and I think I spoke about that the other day, where there was something I wanted to do, but my family didn't understand it, so I had to do it later. And that could be something that might be coming up for a few of you, or at least the collective at large. Is there's this mask of inauthenticity that is falling away, so you can step forward even into old relationships that you didn't think would have worked before, but actually work perfectly well because you are you now. And that's the important part about meeting soul family, is that you have to step forward with yourself and your light and your honest truth, or else you're not really vibing with the right people. And that's a hard thing to do when we've been born into a world that dictates our worth on a pack mentality and how we adjust to going into the adult world. And it's almost like we don't have enough time to grow up. We don't get that pause, that in between, to go from high school to college to getting married to settling down. And that's really not fair to put our almost growth and evolution as a species on this like speed run. And that's really just not good. I'm actually hearing for some of you, once you reconnect with someone new or someone old coming in, you're going to have them on speed dial. Yeah. Okay. So some of you are really going to make strong connections where it's like, I don't like, you wouldn't have known any other way of living without them. So that is very positive news, that if you've been asking for either a friendship or soul connection, because I'm not getting like any romantic feelings from this group. I'm getting more like soul family, soul tribe. And let me see what other information is coming forward. Okay, I'm just going to say, yeah, that's something I was feeling very early on in this reading is proving to be true. So first of all, I pulled two. We have two justice cards. So you and your soul family, I'm going to just say this, if yeah, you're going to be really, really, I'm hearing next of kin. You're going to be so strongly bonded that it's almost like you are just blood family. It's going to be stronger than blood, this connection. I'm hearing you might swear an oath to of eternal love and devotion. You okay, so some of you might actually be marrying your best friends. If that's the case, there might be something to do with that where you are actually getting together with someone. And I'm not seeing X, but I keep hearing reconciliation. So if there's someone in the past who may have bothered you, or if you just didn't know each other, because this doesn't feel like someone who hurt you, it feels like someone you fell away from, but you weren't mean to each other, you actually liked each other, it just wasn't the right time and place. You might not have been in the right peace of mind, and they weren't in the right place either, and you two stepping into your authenticity brings you together in a very, very clear way, because we also have the Four of Wands, and I like this Four of Wands because it shows almost like there's a, so when I read this and I see the troll under the bridge, because I read the Four of Wands as this, the card of family reunion celebration, but this troll under the bridge definitely feels like there was a something blocking you from meeting your soul tribe, and that might have been just a member of your family who didn't want you to cross over. Because this doesn't just talk about family, it talks about soul unions, it talks about this beauty um, of two groups of people coming together and joining. And for some of you, it might be marriage. Maybe this was a person your family didn't approve of. Maybe you are wanting a relationship with someone your family doesn't approve of. And it might be a little bit taboo for some of you because, so I got taken to a song. And I will link all songs I receive in the description below. But it is in Japanese, so just keep that in mind too. But basically, it's like, I think the name means oath, so I just immediately gotten taken to that. There's like this union or bond between two groups of people, because marriage doesn't need to literally mean marriage, but there is something about a divine union contract between two groups of people, and that is destined for you. Like, this is a fated event meeting. And I'm also hearing Water Under the Bridge by Adele. Your love is not water under the bridge. It's meant for you, but sometimes there's these sticky energies that kind of coincide with growth, and they don't want you to get to that point. And it's like, how do you manage that? Because you can't see that guy. When you're approaching that, you can't really see what's hidden under the bridge. So this might be the member of your family who doesn't really want you to get through that. Or it could be just a subconscious fear. This troll could also be you trolling yourself, so to speak, or just your own inner limitations controlling your desires and your capacity to feel this very beautiful unconditional love. I'm hearing boundless. There's a lot of boundless and beautiful love your way, and this person is very much like you, mind, body, and soul in a lot of ways. This is a very beautiful connection between two groups of people. So it really is just about trusting your vibe is attracting your tribe, and paying attention, I think, to signs you might see in your dreams as well. Because I'm being taken to this white farmhouse with a bunch of people just living their lives in a spiritual community. But like with everything, be careful with that, because you never know what's out there. But I am being taken back to a lot of the 1960s, like flower child revolution. There's just this fight for what is right for you, and you are going to be winning in the end, let me just say. And let me see what other messages. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of this fresh new energy when it comes to love, and like almost I'm hearing instant gratification for some of you. This person or group of people might contact you via email, because I just heard email correspondence, so look out for that. Yeah, I think moving forward, it's about living your life without regrets and knowing these people are not here to control you. They're here to love you as you are, and they're not going to abandon you. I actually, the other night, I was taken to this almost like the spiritual allegory of what it's like to be in a very like almost one-sided relationship. And I have a lot of dreams like this when I'm navigating my own inner work. And basically, God showed me getting into a relationship with someone um, was like going to an amusement park, going on one roller coaster, and then all of a sudden have them act like they don't know you and leave them, and they abandon you in the middle of this amusement park. And you're like, what the frick happened? That was kind of one of the easiest ways, because I'm a very visual person. So when I get that image, I connect to it very, very strongly. And before I even got into the amusement park, with another person, I was in a vehicle, and there were a lot of red flags right away. So we never made it to the amusement park. We didn't enter into a relationship. There were too many things on the way there. And coincidentally enough, I actually kind of met this person, like almost soon after the dream. This was, I forget how long ago it was, but that's funny how that happens and how God likes to warn us. Or if you identify with someone who has those types of dreams, or even just your spirit guides give you these warnings ahead of time, you definitely should honor them. Because the moment I met the person who wanted to almost get to know me, to take me to an amusement park, basically to be in a relationship with me, at least to start a friendship, I just got a lot of red flags right away. And if I hadn't been warned about that, I would have felt a lot worse about it. But I didn't really say anything or do anything with this person. I mostly just prayed for them and was like, okay. But it's trickier when you have more romantic relationships. If you feel like you want to enter into them very quickly, there might be a warning about that coming in soon. So it's just about having discernment and spotting who the true people are from the liars, and not being so blinded by this idea of the soul tribe, soul family reunion thing that you don't see people who might not align with you. Because I faced that same thing through my entire journey. I delved into some of my previous lifetimes, and I knew some of the people from other lifetimes, and I was warned about a few of them. And while I did have a connection with them in those lifetimes, I still gave myself that time and space to figure out, are they aligned with me? Can I be in a relationship with them? And the easiest way to kind of course correct from your own um, I would say over eagerness to connect with people you knew in another life is to give it to God. And a lot of times from this point on, when I meet new people that I knew I shared a soul connection with, a lifetime with, there was literally last year, I had a dream about a friend that I knew in another incarnation, and I met them in real life. And I was kind of excited at first, but then it kind of felt a little bit like there was these new feelings and almost eagerness to move forward, and I didn't know how to approach it. So I literally sat down with God and I said, if this person is meant to be in my life, let it be. If they are not, let it be known to me, and I will let them go. Because we have millions upon millions of possible soul connections we can even let in this lifetime. And there are many people we knew from across space and time, and like not all of them are coming with us. So that's an important thing to know too. If you have to let a few people loose from your soul tribe, just the simplest way to do it, what you don't even need a reason to do it, just do it because it's good for your soul and for your soul's growth, to say, if this person is meant to be in my life, let them be. If they are not, I release them to you, God, and then pray on it. And then no matter what happens, if they fall away, you're detached enough where you realize, well, my prayer has been answered, and new people enter in. And I guess that's one last piece of advice I have for you, that even when you're in a new soul tribe reunion or connection, not all of them are going to follow with you the rest of your life. And some of them might need at least some boundary setting initially, so you don't end up repeating the same cycle. And also, like, don't keep yourself committed to just one person in a group of people. You have many soul connections. I'm seeing some of you might meet at least 2 to 5 new people part of your soul family. And that is one of the biggest recommendations I definitely have for you. Um, yeah, because in the end, you do have free will and the choice, and God does want to help you with this and any of these new connections, and they're here for you for your soul's growth on this journey in life. So He is always going to protect you if you ask for it. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much once again for viewing. I appreciate you being here during this time. Like, comment, and subscribe to see more content and supporting this channel. You've been so awesome, and I appreciate you all. So, have a nice day.